Tonight on Scrappy Time, I'm hanging out with my good buddy, Jeremy LaDuke. We're gonna be talking small business in Tennessee and eating some poncha. I believe that's what he said it was. It's good.
I watch the sun fall from a rock outcrop. The moon slowly rose and the valley filled with fog. And then I heard a commotion on the trail down below. Carbide lights were coming up the mountain, and they were led by Mother Jones singing, "Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on?" I never wanted to leave the top of a mountain, 'cause Lord knows I love to get high. I never wanted to leave the top of a mountain unless I was headed to the by and by, to that mountain in the sky, the sweet by and by.
Hey everybody, I'm here with my good friend Jeremy LaDuke. He is a small business owner here in Blount County and owns EP7. How's everything going today, Jeremy?
Going great, man. Thanks for having me. I am a little disappointed we're not in a hillbilly pool, though. I have my swimming trunks in the car just in case.
I got a couple up the road here. My neighbors probably wouldn't mind, but for now, I guess this is a couple beers and a good conversation
that
about small business in Tennessee is what we're going to have to do, right? So tell us just real quick, a little bit about yourself and about your business and that sort of thing.
So EP7, we're going on 7 years old. Yes, 7 years old.
Congrats.
This next April. And what we do marketing. So we consider ourselves marketing outfitters. When businesses are having a hard time conquering their marketing mountains, they'll come to us and figure out what's the best route, what sort of tools do they need, and we'll help them get over the top.
Awesome. So, you do everything then, I guess, from like helping with websites and media type stuff?
Yeah, web design, a lot of logos and branding, digital advertising, pretty much all the nuts and bolts of marketing.
Cool. And how many employees do you have?
Right now, we've got all together, we have a team of 7, including myself. So
you're truly a small business then?
Yeah.
Located here in Blount County.
Yeah.
And that's why he's here today. That's what we're going to talk about. So as a small business owner, right now has to be a very, very difficult time for everybody, but especially I would imagine, businesses are having to cut their budgets and not to mention there's fear of, the face-to-face stuff that we've all had to adapt to. How's that been, and has the state helped at all?
So we're in a unique position, I think, for a couple of reasons. A lot of stuff that we do can be done from home. It's digital. We don't necessarily have to meet face-to-face with anybody, so we've adapted pretty well to it. And we've seen some of our clients, we've seen some that have been affected pretty severely by the shutdowns and everything, but then others who have adapted well as well. So all in all, we fared pretty well. The PPP, that helped us, that helped several of our clients. But I think the thing that is the hardest for us right now is the uncertainty. And that's just been the thing that's been looming over this whole thing the whole time, is that we're not sure, if we're going to have to shut down again. I mean, with the CDC saying, possibly 300,000 people dead by December, we just don't know. And so I think for us, the thing that we would have liked to have seen was better leadership from the federal to the state to the local level to say, hey, this is what we've got to do to shut this thing down and not have to redo this whole lockdown again. I cannot wait to go back to where we don't have to wear masks everywhere and where we can just do business as usual. But we can't do that yet because we haven't been disciplined enough to make that happen. And so that's been one of the biggest frustrations, is if we had just been disciplined, did what we need to do, had some people make some hard decisions that would not have been popular, but if they would have led, then we'd be in a much better position right now.
You're a young small business owner, entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about the challenges of a young entrepreneur in Blount County, because let's admit, we're not, your office isn't on Market Square in Knoxville.
Right. Yeah. So when I first started, I didn't really know what I was doing. I don't think anybody really does. If they did, they probably wouldn't do it. But I didn't really know what I was doing. But I knew I needed a good office space, because that kind of legitimized what I was doing. I could have worked from home, and I had tried that before, but I needed somewhere that I could say, hey, this is my office. If you want to come do business with me, come here. And one of the things I ran into off the bat was just affordable office space around town. And so that was an obstacle for me, and I've seen it be an obstacle for several other startup businesses that have tried to get going in Maryville specifically. But there's just not a whole lot of options for good, affordable office space.
So one of the challenges as a small business owner, and is a problem across the country, but definitely here in Blount County, is access to affordable housing.
Yeah.
If you can bring and attract employees all day long, but if you don't have affordable places for them to live, you're not going to be as successful as you could. What are a couple other things, related to those challenges?
As we've grown, and as I've had the opportunity to hire folks, one of the hardest things is finding good talent. It seems like most of the people are they're going outside they're either from Knoxville because they can't afford to live in Blount County because the housing market here is so.
But they drive here to work.
Right. So we have to go outside of Blount County to find folks that can do what we need them to do at the salary that we can afford to pay them. Right. Mm-hmm. And so that's been a little bit difficult as well. I'd say one of the biggest challenges that I've faced, and it's a financial challenge, but it's also it's just as a person, you want to be able to help your employees thrive, and part of that is access to health care, right? And so as an employer, not being able to say, hey, if you come work with us, we can help you with health care, or at least provide you access to it. That's been tough. We had our own office plan for about a year or so, but then the prices just skyrocketed, and they kept on going up, and so we couldn't afford it. And so that, I know that's a bigger conversation than just the state level, but that is one thing that if the government, if we had a single payer healthcare system, that would inject a lot more resources into the budgets of small businesses, but it would also help employees not be trapped to a particular business just because that business provides health care, which is it's a necessary part of our lives now. Mm-hmm. So I'd say if there's any single thing that it causes me more heartburn than anything else, it's the cost of health care and our ability or inability to provide it.
And the sad thing about that is, in Tennessee, if we expanded Medicaid like the majority of states have, those working people working for you more than likely would qualify. Some of them would, for Medicaid under Medicaid expansion. So we have a solution to that one.
And it's just sitting there. It's just the money's just sitting there that we've already paid for, and our leadership has said, no, we don't want that for our people.
$1.4 billion with a B a year that my opponent and others have just said, we're not interested, because I don't know why. That doesn't make good sense. So we've talked about affordable housing and healthcare being a hurdle for small business folks. when it comes to attracting folks, I'm assuming we're talking about folks fresh out of college or out of graduate school, or probably, you know, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, somethings.
Yeah. I mean,
what do we need to do to improve the attractiveness of Blount County to them?
You're exactly right. I mean, for most small businesses, I think in Blount County, you can't afford to, you know, if you're starting out, you can't afford to pay someone a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 salary. And so you're looking for those entry level folks that have great work ethic and skills. One thing I think that would help us a lot is to have a more vibrant scene, especially in the downtown area. I think Maryville downtown is the heart of our county, and the businesses that are there are amazing, but they're pieces of the puzzle, and that puzzle isn't complete yet. The leadership in our town maybe needs to focus a little bit harder on how do we complete that puzzle.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of pieces of that puzzle sitting empty right now, and they've been sitting empty for a long time. And so we've got to come together as a community and say, hey, this is the heart of our county. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to make this an asset to our community, and not only help the county as a whole, but also help the businesses that are down there too? We need foot traffic downtown, and so I think some active planning and
my dog won't shut up, y'all. I'm sorry.
So some leadership on that part would be ideal.
You don't let me go get him. Well, now that I got my dog to quit barking, I want to ask you another question. Let's switch gears real fast. Tell us a little bit about the group you're with, the nonprofit, I guess.
Yeah. So the Sky City Initiative started about 3 years ago or so. Rachel Buchanan, who was at that time the Director of Economic Development at the partnership, got as many, you know, of the entrepreneur types around as she could find to kind of hear what we had to say about how do we keep entrepreneurs and how do we attract new entrepreneurs, and really how do we help entrepreneurs make successful businesses. And so we started having those conversations. We started having some events to attract some entrepreneurs and hear from them. And so at the end of the day, the big thing that happened out of that was that we started the Sky City Entrepreneur Center. Unfortunately, we decided to launch that right before COVID hit, and so it's kind of been at a standstill since then. But our mission is really to how to attract and keep entrepreneurs in Blount County. And so we're still actively doing that, but we just haven't had any large in-person events since March.
But that's something that going forward, certainly leaders, y'all can communicate with local leaders at the state, county, and other levels.
And that's something that both the all three of the local governments, Maryville, Alcoa, and Blount County, have all financially helped get the Sky City Entrepreneur Center off the ground. And the partnership has played a big role in that as well. So they've been great with that. But we still have a lot to do, right? So we have a lot to this is just the beginning of it, really.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you being here today, and I really appreciate that dish you brought. What was that stuff called again?
Oh, I'm gonna butcher the name. So
it's all right. I messed up entrepreneurship.
So this is a dish that my wife, her mother, made actually, and she's from Kenya, but her ethnicity is Indian. So all of her family is from northwestern India. It's patra.
See, I can say that.
It's like a elephant ear plant with chickpea flour rolled up and steamed, and then you fry it up, and it's crispy.
Well, I can tell you this, I liked it. It was nice and spicy, and I thought it was sausage. So for all you good old boys out there, you ought to try the what?
Patra.
Okay. I'm butchering it.
I totally butchered it.
Anyhow, I enjoyed it. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks, Jay.
He was behind me, right there in my mirror, that red, white, and blue STP. If it hadn't been for the number 483, I could have been the king.
Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed that conversation I had with my good buddy Jeremy LaDuke about small businesses in Tennessee. Small businesses are the drivers of our economy and supply most of the jobs. Therefore, we need to support them, especially in a time of COVID-19. Jeremy also brought up some good points. Affordable housing is a major issue in Blount County. So is access to health care. One way we could save a lot of money for our small businesses is expand Medicaid, and I'll fight to do that when I get to Nashville. The last thing he mentioned was entrepreneurship. We need to make sure we support our young people and make sure the opportunities that they need are provided here in our county so we can keep our economy thriving and keep progress going in Blount County.
And prayed the Lord my soul to keep, and that I'd see Peter when I die. And Lord, I hope you love dogs too. I think Jesus loves dogs too. As the years passed on, many dogs had come and gone. I still remember them all. There was Pat, Snowflake, and Sadie, Sapphire and Snooky, Joni and Jazz and old Frito. They were members of my family, like my brothers and sisters. And know what joy they did bring. And when on earth they no longer roam, I'd like to think they found a better home, and that they're more than just memories.
All right, ready? Indy, man, leave that little thing alone. Next week on Scrappy Time, I'm going to be talking to my good friend and County Commissioner, Jackie Hill. We're going to be talking about race relations and all things Blount County, because she knows it. Hope you'll tune in. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Come on. Come on, man.
Did I feel within, and you've been coming around a little more each day. Could you stop by tomorrow so we can play? And we'll start spinning, and we'll be grinning, 'cause this love we have, it feels so good it can't be bad. Well, my morning suck, lately they've all been the same.
Hey, everybody. I want you to know that campaigns run on money, and we need your help. Whether it's a one-time payment or recurring, you can do it at jclark410.com.
I think I can't take much more.